Hello, hello. Welcome to Roll for a Question, the stream where a veteran DM offers to answer any questions you might have about Dungeons and Dragons. And in the meantime, we're going to be making some homebrews. Before I get started, I just want to say, first of all, I need to fix my camera. I need to be bigger. There's my big camera. I am feeling a little low energy this stream, so it's officially legally spring now, and that means that it's time for spring cleaning to begin. And spring cleaning is a very draining activity, and it's something that's going to be continuing. So I might be low energy this month. It did not even occur to me that that would be a problem, that I would need additional time on the weekend just to clean up. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of demos this week, a lot of the Next Fest demos, because when I during Next Fest, when I'm playing a demo, I try not to play it for longer than 30 minutes, even if I'm really enjoying it, because there are so many demos and I just don't have the time. I can't rat hole. What is it? Was that the word? Yeah. I can't bottleneck on one demo, and that sucks because I really enjoy some of the demos. I've just been going back and being this was a good game. Let me actually finish the demo and see how it ends and if it sticks the landing. And then there are some demos that I didn't like, but that was a quick judgment, and now that I have time, I want to give them a second chance. And there's a couple that I've looked at that I've been you know what? Actually, I still don't like it, but I think this is better than I had originally assessed it to be. And I would actually keep my eyes on this just to see if this is something that the developer could fix the issues with and make a gem out of this. And yeah, it's been a fun week. It's been good. Very busy though. So, anyway, roll for question. If you have a question, feel free to drop it in the comments or in the chat. I'll answer it for you. We're going to be making some brews, and we're going to be doing that a lot this month. And here's the thing. I've been asked to make a specific theme for these brews, and I'm going to do that because you know what? Why not? If you have a theme in mind and you want some home brews for that, drop it down, and if it's cool, I may just do it. But here's the theme. Magic Prison. This is a common theme. This is extraordinarily common, actually. This is something that even came up in the D&D movie. In D&D proper, there's nothing in the book that tells you how one might construct a prison for wizards or sorcerers or anything like that. There's no magic handcuffs. There's no manacles or anything like that. I think in 4th edition there was a magic item, but that is not in 5th edition, and that I don't believe is in any previous edition. Any magic prisons in any edition other than 4th, that's homebrew. That's homebrew, and it's super common because a lot of the times I'll see a DM come up and ask a question "Hey, I'm doing multiple things." So a DM will be "Hey, I'm doing a campaign where the party starts in prison and the campaign starts with them breaking out. How do I do that?" Super common. That's super common. Super good question. Another one is my players are being bad, and it makes perfect sense for the town that they're in to arrest them. How do I go about doing that? Because the wizard can just teleport out of the prison, right? You could take the spell book away, but they can still, if they have the spell prepared, they can still teleport. And you could gag them, but they need to eat. What do? Easy solution, common solution. magic handcuffs. Now, the reason I'm pretty sure the reason they're not in the book proper, base D&D, is for the exact reason that they are used in the D&D movie, which I don't want to spoil it, but you know, with magic handcuffs, you can solve problems that maybe the DM didn't expect you to solve. I'll just say that. But anyway, we've got a theme. We're going to make a magic prison. Now, this prison needs a purpose. And that purpose is to hold dangerous people, dangerous creatures, and it needs to be able to withstand magic. I mean, like magical creatures, not like random magic. What I'm gonna say, this is a magic prison. This magic. I was told magic prison should be on a demiplane. That's a good place to put a prison, you know. Is the remnants of a collision between two demiplanes. One created by a wizard and one that constructed by an ancient lost civilization in from another aspect of the multiverse. That's a lot of words, but basically that gives us license to do weird stuff and just say like, this is a gem. It does weird things. It's ancient technology from a lost civilization. We don't need to explain it further than that. Great. So now we have a little license. And then we've got this wizard, and this wizard can be any connection point to your world if you're using this. So you can be like, you have been tasked with infiltrating this magic prison. It's owned by wizard. Here's their name. Here's where they live. Party go. You know? You can do that. Let's lay out a palette. Because, as I said before, I'm feeling a little low energy, and I kind of need some easy mode. So, palette for prison. I like the idea of light-based conduits. That's a key component in any ancient technology. You got to have tubes that are just glowing, you know, and if you break them, it's bad. What happens if you break them? Let's not think about that. The party would never do that. Okay, what else can go on our palette? Things that we can always look back, things that we want to see in a magic prison that we can always go back to if we ever run out of inspiration. Well, a prison needs cells, but that's a little too on the nose. What else would a prison need? Unbreakable glass? Unbreakable glass. Sure, yeah. Unbreakable glass. You can make a prison out of that pretty easy. I want to say something Magitech-y, like something that gets across the idea that like there is magic tech at work here. It's not shapeless. It's not formless. Like there's rules and structures to this Magitech, but maybe like batteries, fun batteries. What's a fun battery? What would be a fun power source? Uh, Not fuel. Fuel is too on the nose. Fuel is not magic. That's also too on the nose. What about something weird? Like book-based power source. Book-based power batteries. Here's a device. To power it, you need to put a book in here, and the writing in the book is consumed as part of the function of this device. So like this door will remain shut as long as there's a battery in that slot over there. And it looks like this book is dry. So we need to recharge this book. Take it to the scriptorium or whatever. Book type batteries. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's it's weird. It's different. It's got some theme, flavor, and whatnot. Let's get a few more. A magic prison in a demiplane, in the collision of two demiplanes. So we can have like some sort of dimensional instability present. Maybe we could have wards against dimensional instability. That's not very good. But that's fine. One more thing. I think one more thing would be a good, healthy palette. So we've got a magic prison. We've got demiplanes that have collided. We've got stuff for the ancient lost civilization. Do we have anything from a wizard? What would a wizard contribute to a magic prison? And I mean, they're not, they didn't build the prison, but they're using it and upgrading it. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna say pressure rooms. I don't know. I got nothing. This is not something that particularly. And what I mean by pressure rooms is that there are some rooms in this prison that are ultra pressurized, and if you open the door while they're pressurized, you will hurt yourself. So you need to manage the pressure in this prison if you want to get around. Vents. That's fine. That's not common in like a fantasy prison, but it's absolutely in a magic prison, absolutely. We're gonna have vents everywhere. Cool. So, let's start off. We've got a magic prison, and the idea there's two possibilities. We thought the party is either in this prison, they've been interred in this prison, and they need to break out, or they're infiltrating this prison and they need to rescue, collect, free, liberate. I don't know. They need to do something in this prison. So, obvious couple things we need are custodians. We need prison guards. And we need what's a like a guard support? What's a name for that? I don't know. Custodians, though, we can do. I've got my template here. Let me just copy the monster stat block. Custodian. We'll have a proper name for that. Small thing. Armor class. Don't worry about it. We'll just put 10 hit points. We'll come back to this. These stats or whatever. Okay. So what I'm envisioning is a little creature who isn't really meant to fight, but they will fight, but they're not meant to fight. They are meant to repair things in the facility. They're meant to observe. They're meant to keep the facility clear. So maybe they crawl through the vents. Maybe they're dangerous in the vents, but outside of the vents, you could just like step on them. You could stomp on them, so they won't have a lot of hit points. They absolutely will have a climb score. I don't know. Let's give them like 19 hit points. They do not fly. They are not dragons. What are mechanical creatures? Are those aberrations, celestials, elementals? Small creature. I like to think these are not technological creatures, because this is a magic prison, not a science prison. So let's call them elementals. Small elemental. We'll call them something other than custodian. That is their job. That's their job title. That's not what they are. So they do need perception. So we'll give them, I guess, 16 wisdom. Cool. 30. That's actually a 31. No, that's a +3. Okay. Let's scrap these off. I don't think they're going to have saving throws. Maybe they can have wisdom. They can have wisdom, but they're only going to have a +2 proficiency, so wisdom +5, perception +5. Damage immunities, I doubt it. Senses, dark vision, 60. Every monster has dark vision. That's just classic D&D. Even bandits have dark vision. Don't ask how that's true. Languages, they understand common but don't speak it. There's probably a better template for that. We'll say these are challenge like 1/2. That's what we're targeting. And I think they're like 50 XP. Cool. So in order for these guys to do their job, they need to be able to so they're crawling around the facility in the vents, and they're looking for stuff, and they need to be able to move things. They don't need to be that strong though. They don't need to be that strong. They can have some dexterity just by virtue of their form. They don't need to be tough. They don't need to be smart. And they don't need particular amounts of charisma. They're mainly there to spot problems. Let's see, they're going to have a D8. And how many D8s do they need to have 19 hit points on average? Well, if we make it 18 hit points, we can say 48. Okay. That is fine. That is fine as is. So they're crawling around the facility. They're keeping eyes out. They are How would they attack? They might punch. They might just have a slam. They might have a bite. A bite doesn't make a lot of sense. Claws make sense. Just for grabbing stuff. Claw. Let's go with a claw. They get one claw. We can make it a dex-based claw because I said so. Nope, that's 5 damage actually. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I think for a CR 1/2 creature, that's atrocious. I think that's terrible. Let me go ahead and take a look at some other creatures. Just get a vibe. How off base am I? Probably pretty off base. I'm feeling I'm pretty off base. So a CR 1/4 creature does more damage than our CR 1/2 creature. Maybe our creature is actually CR 1/4. maybe this is the solution. There we go. Fixed it. But if we look at the animated flying sword, it has a bunch of immunities that we might want to consider. Just kidding. I don't want to consider it. Let's go ahead and close this up. Okay. Now we have to describe this creature because, you know, what we have here kind of sucks. How do you describe what this creature is? So this is a small custodian. Nope, come on. Can I have my normal font, please? Normal text. Custodians are small, 6-legged creatures that crawl around the facility, the prison. Made of stone. Animated stone. In search of and keep things in order. They are responsible for ensuring that they're responsible for the maintenance of every machine, every rune, crystal, and other device within the prison, as well as keeping things tidy and cleaned up. Multiple custodians may work together to move large objects around and effect repairs if needed. Custodians are not like to crawl around the vents. Like to use vents. Facility to the prison. Stop saying facility. To move around quickly and They typically flee from intruders or escaped prisoners, instead preferring to alert guards of the, but they will fight alongside the guards or if cornered. I told myself that these guys should be actually dangerous in vents, so how would we do that? We can give them an attack against prone targets. Because if you're in an event, you're probably prone. Let's just say, like, because normally when you're prone, people get advantage on attacks against you. We want to make that, we want to amp that up a little. So we'll say that the custodian does double damage to targets that are prone. Vent fighter. Custodian does double damage to targets that are prone. Or it might be better to Nope. Let's just leave that there. That's free. We get that for free because we just can. Don't worry about it. This is a CR1 quarter creature. Oh, it just occurs to me. I should zoom in. I normally do that, don't I? Yeah. That's probably a lot easier to read. You can read it if you're in 1080p. If you're not on 1080p, you can't. Apologies. Got our first creature, little custodian. We got to give him a name. We can't just call him custodian. That's a really on the nose. How about like naming things is hard. I don't know what to name this thing. This is a stone six-legged creature that walks around. It's got claws on its legs. Naming things. What can we name this thing? We can call it a Oh, I nearly forgot. There's one other element in this palette that I want to emphasize. We got book type batteries. This is an animated creature. Let's give it a book. Not eat, drink, or sleep. They are powered by a small book inserted into their backs. Placing a book into the book receptacle on their backs. A 200-page book sustains a custodian for up to, I'll say 3 months. After which, without a book, a custodian is unconscious. Yeah. So what was I doing? Oh, I needed to name this thing. That's right. Well, I'm not gonna. I name placeholder name custodian. There we go. Done. We've still got more things to brew. We shouldn't get stuck. We'll come back to that when we find inspiration. Next, we've got to make another. What's on my clipboard? Always dangerous to use the clipboard without knowing what's on it. We got to make another creature. Placeholder name guard. Large elemental. These guys are going to come in multiple flavors depending on the CR of the prison. Now, I was told that the best levels for this kind of stuff, not in general, but just for the person who suggested this to me, is level 6 to 8. So I'm going to make this a CR 8 guard. We might make multiple varieties of guard just for tier 2, but we might make multiple guards because just a single guard kind of boring. Having like 3 different varieties a little better, a little more razzle and dazzle. Armor class. Let's start with 13, but we'll come back to that. Hit points. I don't know. Speed. If there's no reason for this thing to be fast, let's make it 30 feet and let's not give it any other movements. It does need to be strong. It's a guard. It's meant to restrain dangerous, hostile prisoners. So let's give it a strength of 23. No, that's +6. It does not need to be fast. It does need to be tough, though. I think 25 is a bit high, though. Let's give it a con of 19. Does not need to be smart. Does not need to be particularly wise. Or charismatic. Oops. I don't think that's the correct experience for challenge rating 8, CR 8. It's 3,900. Okay, cool. This thing can have passive perception, but we did not give it a lot of wisdom. PB +3. Okay. I'll just add that in there because that's what the game did. Hi. Hello. How's it going? Passive perception of 13. Actually, that's atrocious, but whatever. I'm happy. Nice. Got into a one-piece D&D campaign. That's awesome. Does this thing need saving throws? Strength saving throws would make sense for this thing. The DM gave you a devil fruit that basically you roll a die and get a random power. It's a good way to do that. Did you make your character first and then roll, or did you roll and then make the character? Oh, and this thing can have con proficiency too. But that's it. Is that how that's phrased? Or is it constitution? It is STR. You roll, get a random power that lasts for 5 turns. 5 turns? I don't understand. Is that how the devil fruit works? I thought it would be like a permanent thing. It's just like I can constantly roll. Oh, you get a random power every 5 turns. That's very ambitious for your DM to be running. That's a lot of work for your DM, you know? Hopefully they're not biting off more than they can chew. Poison. You got to give everything immunity to poison. I don't know why. The developers do that, so I guess I have to here as well. Should this thing be immune to poison? No. It shouldn't. We can give it damage resistance. Let's give it damage resistance. Where can I find what's the template language for this now? Slashing, piercing, bludgeoning. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's just okay. That's easy. Bludgeoning, piercing, slashing. Great. I need to roll a 1d760. Yeah, I think your DM is bitten off more than they can chew then. If they've got a 1d760. Oh, not 1d760. 1d761. Okay. Yeah, that's even higher. That's even higher. Like, did they make that table? Like, that's a table that would take me several weeks to populate. Just the table. And then, like, actually rolling through the table to see, like, all right, what here's good, what here's not good. Let's improve this. That's a table that's going to take a long time to cook. That's wild. I mean, we could give this thing. We could leave it here. We could just say, "You're a guard. You get bludgeoning, piercing, slashing resistance." It was already made. I have it prepared. Oh, you made the list. Oh, you get. But you're a player. You got to make your own power? Put some op things and some not so op. Okay. Well, that's hopefully it works good. I wonder if the DM has actually read through the list. If they know what's in that list, I mean, because I 100%, if you were at my table, I would not know everything in that list. It would not be. There's not enough room in my head for that stuff. I barely have enough room for the things that I've prepared. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to homebrew like a simple. Here's a make a class that's like a subclass for the barbarian. It takes a lot of work to just cook up something that's a little different, but more or less barbarian. A new direction on the barbarian. Making a new mechanic, a new class entirely. It's a ton of work. Ton of work. A new power. A non-op thing is to turn into some op things I made is to destroy any inorganic matter I touch and recreate it out of nothing. A non-op thing is to turn into a coconut. Wait, is this just wild magic? Basically, okay. Okay. Well, that's wild magic is a treat. It's a gem. There's a piece of homebrew from ages ago called the Net Librum of Random Magic Effects. It's a wild magic table, but there's 10,000 things on it. It is not balanced in any way, shape, or form. If you use it, you sign off that there is no balance in this game. It is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to use that table. I think one of the things on that table is the nearest star explodes. So, you know. Another thing is I can create and control lemonade. Okay. Like, what do you mean control? It's like you can animate it or you can like water bend. Oh, okay, yeah. So it's like shape water, but shape lemonade. Sure. Is lemonade gonna be a thing in this game, or are you the sole source of lemonade in this game? Because you know what would be really amazing if the DM made a dungeon, and that dungeon had like a room, and that room had lemonade in it, and then you rolled that power, and the DM was like, "What?" Just saying. Yeah. Oh, that's signing up for some wild times. You can produce and manipulate lemon juice, an homage to that one guy that kept putting it gives you lemon powers. I see. Oh, it just says manipulate. I bet that's going to be very confusing for your DM if the first time they read that. I would be confused. I would be the words waterbend tell me exactly what it's supposed to do. The words manipulate doesn't mean like I can manipulate lemonade with my hand. That doesn't that's not a you can also create and become lube. Perfect. What's a roll a D761 for me right now? What is something that you would just roll? Just out of curiosity. What was I doing? I need to pick hit points for this thing. This thing has 136 hit points. You know what? Me too. Okay, yeah, but we're not copy pasting that. I rolled 201. You can generate static electricity. Includes creating a static force field, object attraction, and shocking. That is very vague. Object attraction? I mean, when I think of static electricity, I think of like the prestidigitation spell. But I don't know. Like, I don't know what that extends to. Like, if someone's holding a sword, can you steal their sword? Like, how does that work? Or can you steal their sword? Is that not the type of object attraction that they're talking about? Punching seems like a good way for a guard to establish order. We can call it the slam. I rolled again, and I can turn into a woodpecker. Yeah, that's wild magic. That's a classic wild magic result. Now I'm a bird. The guard can use... also have Kermit on my list. I can turn into Kermit D. Frog. A puppet? Or, like... Are you a puppet, or are you a actual creature? Clifford the Big Red Dog. Okay, the Muppet. That doesn't sound very useful. That list sounds a little wild. Which is fine as long as everyone's on board for wild. That's something that, like, I would want to make sure that the DM has actually read the list and been like, yeah, this is great. I'm ready for this. Which, you know, I assume they are. That was one of the more op ones. Why would it be op? Why would it be overpowered? I don't understand. Tyrannosaurus plus 10. Plus 10 to hit. It should be plus 9 to hit. Why is the Tyrannosaurus plus 10? Oh, it's even stronger. Okay, I see. Reach 5 feet. One target. Hit. Is that a good amount of damage for a slam attack from a large guard? Kermit powers, whoever I touch, they must do a wisdom saving throw or become a Muppet. They can't move or speak, but they can still feel pain. I have full control. Okay, I don't... How is that... How does that have anything to do with Kermit the Frog? I can make a field of Muppet. If someone stabs one Muppet, the Muppet will bleed and cry but can't scream. Does the Muppet know me? I don't know what that means. Is this right? This math doesn't math right. Okay, the Tyrannosaurus is doing 40, 12 plus 7 twice. No, sorry. 40, 12 plus 7 plus 48 plus 7. That is 30. Okay, 33 plus 25. 58. Plus there's some riders attached to that, which, whatever. 58. Actually, this is about on target. This is about on target right here. 19, 38, 57? Is that exactly right? 50, 50. Yeah, that's fine. This is fine. Okay, we can just leave that as is. We've got a guard. Have you watched One Piece? I've watched One Piece, yeah. Bum bum bum. Okay. Remember Sugar the Gorilla can touch people and turn them into toys? No, I don't. I haven't watched all of One Piece. I've actually watched I'm gonna say like 5% of One Piece. Where did you stop? I have no idea. I was watching it with a friend, and we just kind of... I think we watched, like... I've watched 12 episodes, I think, early on. And then, yeah. I don't know how much... I don't know how much One Piece there actually is. And then I've watched the live action, but I... Like, whatever. I think these guys are pretty easy to describe. 1,122. Okay. That's how many episodes there are. Yeah, that's... I've watched less than 1%. Placeholder name guard. These guys can just be like large dudes. Guards are large, humanoid, creatures, stone, stony, with bulbous hands. No, that's not correct. Basically, my of a fruit make it so I can't age, and whoever I touch turn into a Muppet I can control. I want to say they have big arms to justify, like, they hurt when they hit you. Big arms. They hurt when they hit you. They don't have faces, but can magically project a voice. Though they typically only give orders. They only speak to give orders to prisoners. Also have Freddy Krueger. You got everything. The guards are typically don't need to eat, sleep, or drink, or breathe. Let's say they need to breathe. That's fine. No, it makes more sense to say they don't need to breathe. And then we should extend that courtesy to the custodians as well. Give me a number from 1 to 423. Hold on. Let me get my dice. Okay. Ba 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 ba. 267. 267. Guards don't need to eat, drink, breathe, or sleep. Okay. Hmm. $267. You can turn into a Diplo. I don't know what that is. Do not know what that is. Diplocalus. Let's give these guards. They have 2 book receptacles. Each guard has 2 book receptacles on its back. What did I say up here? Each guard is powered by a pair of book receptacles on its back. Each a 200-page book will sustain. Guard 4. For let's say like a few weeks. But the guard does not spend most of their time inert, and they do not consume any pages. While unmoving. You Google to search for a Diplodocus. I can do that later. Motionless. Unmoving. Okay, so we've got... It's just big dudes. They're not particularly... We can give them a little more armor class. I don't think that matters particularly much. 1 to 299. Let me roll. I have rolled. Oh, okay. That's 283. What was I doing? I lost track. They do not consume any pages while they remain unmoving. Do we need to say anything special about these guys? Maybe not. But I do want to give them like a supporting creature. Because these are just like, they run up to you, they punch you. And that's easily bamboozled by most parties. So we gotta spice up the defenses of this prison a bit. So we gotta give them like ranged guards and anti-magic guards, I guess. I don't know. You can break objects and weaken the instructional integrity of structures. That sounds... What does that mean? Like you can just destroy the dungeon with your mind? You can instantly clean yourself, others, and an area. Okay. That's not as crazy as I thought it was. Oh, that's 282. Okay. 283 is the break objects and weaken instructional integrity. When does your game start? When are you scheduled to get going? 273s you can touch like a support mine and instantly destroy it. You can destroy any support. That's gonna be pretty destructive to any dungeon that you're in. The DM disappeared like 2 or 3 months ago. You don't have a DM? That's kind of important. You can't make a character and not have a DM. That doesn't count. He disappeared. Gotta find a new DM. The very, very, very first DM I had for 5th edition, playing the starter set, disappeared on me. Disappeared on the whole party. Life, it happens. They had a friend in the group that let us know that, yeah, we're not going to be playing anymore. There was a little bit of, there wasn't any expectation that they would ever return, so we just moved on. But yeah, sometimes it'd be like that. It's all good to just find a new DM. Gotta play games. Plenty of games out there. Last thing we heard was his grandma going for surgery. Yeah. That checks out. I couldn't promise that I wouldn't disappear after something like that. Life. It gets in the way. Oops. Oh no. That is not good. I need to go back to the template. grab this, copy that. Hold on a second. Boom. Okay. We got to give this guard support. So I'm just going to call this guy a placeholder name. Ranged guard. These don't have to be large. These don't have to be large. Medium elemental. They also don't need to be tough. Although, something to note. Something that 4th edition learned. A lesson from 4th edition, because 4th edition had very, very complex monster creation rules they're just good. They're just great. Learn from 4th edition. They gave monsters roles, and there were various roles that are like artillery. So this monster does a lot of damage at range. They're very weak, and they can't do damage up close. There was a monster role called the soldier. I believe it's called the soldier. And the soldier focused on high defenses, medium health, hard to hit. And 4th edition learned that that was not fun. It is not fun to fight a monster that you're constantly missing, that like you cast a spell on them, there's an 80% chance that they save. You know, that's not fun. It's a tank. It's meant to tank, but there's another role in 4th edition called the brute, which is the opposite of that. It's got very, very low defenses, but it hits hard and it has a lot of hit points. So it's not like it's not a glass cannon. It's a tanky puncher. And they found that putting brutes in place of soldiers was a lot more fun. And brutes can kind of serve the role of tank because they have a lot of hit points. So whenever possible, I try and favor increasing the hit points over increasing the armor class, over increasing the saving throws. It's okay to still have like, this guy is really tough. They have high armor class, but you want to put a weakness there that the players can target. So they're not just like dragging out the combat because they just can't hit the thing that they're fighting. So 14 armor class might seem low for, especially, actually it's higher than the Tyrannosaurus Rex. There are definitely some monsters that are like CR9, CR10 that have an armor class of 18, 19. And that's just not as fun as hitting a thing, but having to whittle through its hit points. Now, I will also caution that giving something a lot of hit points does make it tanky, but it does also run the risk where the party is hitting on something so many times that they lose interest. Like you hit this guard, you do 18 damage, cool. You hit this guard, you do 17 damage, cool. You hit this guard, you do 28 damage, cool. Eventually, you stop caring that you're hitting this guard because it has unlimited hit points. It feels like it has unlimited hit points. So if you do want to make a really, really tough guard, what I like to recommend is add phases to your guard. Make it so that once the guard hits a certain threshold of hit points, something interesting happens to make it feel like the players are progressing. So if I wanted to give this thing 336 hit points, I would definitely for sure add a thing that was like, every time the guard loses 100 hit points, an arm falls off. You know? Nothing complicated, nothing fancy, but like, it makes it feel less like you're just hitting a sack of hit points and more like you're actually whittling this thing down. So don't let your armor classes spiral out of control, and don't add too many hit points. Or if you do, make sure you tie that into the game, the pacing of your combat. Don't just throw a bunch of hit points and then the party has to whittle that down because that's boring. Give them feedback for when they whittle down the hit points of the creature. This thing does not need to have armor class. We can just give it like a really dinky armor class of, we can even say 10. Does not need to have a lot of hit points. It needs to have some hit points. You can't just make a this has 1 hit point. This is a CR8 creature because it'll die in 1 hit and then it won't be a challenging creature at all. So it does need to have hit points. We can give it 12d8 hit points, whatever that is. Plus question mark, question mark. Let's see, 12d8. So the average of a d8 is 4.5, times 2 is 9. 9 times 6 is 54. That's really low. Huh. That plus 52 is doing work. Oh. 13 times 6.5 times 2 is 13, and then times 6. 13 times 6. I don't have that mentally mapped. Oh god. 39 times 2. 39 times 2 is 78. 78 plus 48. Eight plus 8 is 16. 78 plus 48. 126. Okay, so it's off by 10. Great. I don't know how that worked. I don't know how that happened, but the things that this game... Anyway, we can give this thing a smaller con. Give this thing a small dex. Sorry, a small strength. And this thing has a large dex. Let's give it a set 18, 19. Plus 4. Do we want to give it a fly speed? No, that's stupid. But we can make it fast. And then we can just copy the mental stats. This guy don't know much. And there we go. No saving throws. Just kidding. Maybe we give him a dex saving throw. Challenge rating 8. It's probably not going to actually be 8. It's probably going to be 6, but... You know, I probably could have just copied the stat block of the guard up there. Instead of copying the red dragon stat block. Ugh. Okay, this is ship shape. Saving throws, just dex. It's going to be plus 7. Should we give these guys stealth? Sure. Let's give them stealth. They don't need to have damage resistances. They are not meant to be tough. Get that out of here. They gotta have dark vision because everything in this game has dark vision, and wisdom, passive perception of 10. Cool. Okay, I want to give them a thing. Since they're gonna be inert like these guards, I want to give them like closets to hide in, so that they pop out whenever it's time to fight. hides in a closet. All right, that's a terrible sentence. I can't believe I just wrote that. Let me try again. Pop-up turret. Yeah, but that's not correct either, because these are not turrets. They can move. They can run around. What is a better way to express the idea? Pop-up turret. All right, so here's what I'm thinking, because I got to think out loud. This creature, there's going to be like circles on the walls that they can stick to, and while they are stuck to them, they are petrified. They cannot move. They cannot hear things. While they're petrified, though, they are immune to damage that doesn't instantly kill them. So they're immune to damage that's less than whatever 66 times 2 is. 132 damage. They can be activated by a guard. And yeah, I don't know. Let me just say defensive shelter. The range, okay, that's not supposed to be bold. The range guard can adhere itself, can rest against a wall with a runic circle. Typically rests against a runic circle. While resting in this way, the ranged guard is petrified. And has immunity to and ignores any damage. And ignores damage less than 132. That is poorly worded. Ignores any source of damage which deals 132 or less. There's got to be a better way to word that. Ignores damage that deals less than 132 points of damage. The ranged guard is unconscious. No. Ranged guard can be activated by another guard. Be ended by another guard. within 60 feet using their bonus action to activate the ranged guard. Cool. So they don't do anything by themselves. They just rest on the wall, but they can be activated to fight. And if they are, any number of ranged guards. That is probably a much better way to word what I just said. The idea is that these guys are just in a room. They're there. They're not hidden. The party knows they're there. They're clearly deactivated, and they cannot be activated by like the party. The party can't. You can't hit them. You can hit them, but it does nothing. There might be a switch in the dungeon that activates them as well, but we don't need to write that here. They are activated by when another guard says, "Hey, get on my team." Then they wake up. So, yeah. Let's give these guys a range attack. I feel like they need to have an innate weapon of some kind, but they don't need to have like an innate ranged, like, they don't need to like spit needles or have an acidic a launcher on their back or anything like that. They can have like an integrated bow, and then their arm opens up and it becomes a bow, a crossbow maybe, and they can just shoot regular bolts. Let's say integrated crossbow. Ranged weapon attack. Plus 10 to hit. Nope, just kidding. It's plus 7 to hit. Range 8320 feet. One target. Hit. I think we could make this do a lot of damage because it's just a single attack. So we can do like 60, 10, plus 8 piercing. And that is... what is that? 60, okay, so yeah, D10 is 5.5 on average. 5.5 times 6. Okay, so 5.5 times 2 is, or sorry. Yeah, no, that's right. 5.5 times 2 is 11. Times 3 is 33. 33 plus 8. 41. This thing does 41 piercing damage on a hit. No multi-attack. Let's give it a melee attack because everything needs a melee attack. And when I say give it a melee attack, I mean let's take this melee attack and copy it. But we dumb it down. Why does this have plus 8? It just occurs to me. It should not have plus 8. It should, this is plus 6, so 17. That's fine. We can make this 2d12 to make that actually make that work. Yeah. Does that work? No, that doesn't. 6.5 times 2. That's 13. No, that does work. Okay, that maths out. Okay, and then you've got your slam. This is only plus 3 to hit. Reach, plus 5. Uh, 11. 60, 10 plus 4. What was this? 8. Okay, so subtract 37. 37 piercing damage per hit. So these guys are definitely not challenge rating 8. They're definitely a bit underpowered. But at the same time, because of this ability, that significantly complicates how the encounter math is calculated, because they start inert. But still, they're probably like CR6. They might be CR5 actually. This is a scary number, but in reality, like +7 to hit. Not that scary. I want to have one more support unit. I want to have something that is going to make the casters upset. And when I say casters, I mean the cleric and the druid and the wizard. So bum 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 bum. Maybe I also need like a caster guard. Like, this guard is intended to put down big fields to incapacitate large crowds. Maybe I do need that. Crowd control guard. They don't need to have a lot of hit. We can just copy these stats for now. The main difference is just these attacks. They can also be in a defensive shelter. They won't have an integrated crossbow. How do I word this? So what I'm thinking is that they spray oil on the ground, and then they ignite it, so that there's a 15-foot radius of fire on the ground, and creatures that are in that radius, they got to save or take half damage. Save to take half damage, and if you enter the fire, you're gonna take damage. So fire spray. This is not a melee weapon attack or a range attack. Okay, we're not calling this a range guard. We're calling this a crowd control guard. Gosh, it'll be great once we have names for these things. So this is going to put down the crowd. Guard chooses a point within 60 feet, 30 feet, let's say 30 feet, and launches a spray of oil from its back in a 15-foot radius, landing in a 15-foot radius. The oil then ignites. Then igniting the oil. Creatures within the radius must make a DC 15? I think that's it's 8 plus the stat, which is, we're going to say is Dex. So 12, and then plus proficiency, but yeah, it's 15. Dexterity saving throw, taking 66 fire damage on a success. Nope. On a failure, or half that on a success. Creatures that, and the fire continues to burn. Burn for 10 rounds for 1 minute. creatures that enter the radius end their turn within the radius or enter it for the first time on their turn. Must also make this dexterity saving throw. Flying creatures are immune. No, let's not say that. Non-flying creatures that end their turn. Okay. So if you're flying, you'll get caught by the initial oil. But then once the burn on the ground, once the fire is on the ground, you can fly over it without issue. Cool. We have this crowd control card. I don't know. Let's make up one more. Anti-magic guard. What am I thinking here? What's a good... If you're designing a prison and you want to make sure that magic doesn't ruin things, and you can make stone elemental creatures that you power them with books. You put books in them. We didn't include any description for the range guard and the crowd control guard, but they're going to look the same as the guards, so that's fine. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to be right back. Let me just be back in 2 minutes. Let me contemplate. What kind of nonsense can an anti-magic guard be given? Okay, so a little bit of thinking time. I find that when I'm stumped, like moving around does help. I just remembered we have a palette. We can always refer back to it when we get stumped. And one of the things on there that might be useful is unbreakable glass. So we could do is we could give our anti-magic guards glass shield, put a little ward on it, and then use that as a sort of justification for, like, as long as this creature has a shield, as long as it's holding a shield, it has resistance to magic, and it shares that resistance with all of the other guards. So anti-magic guard, let's make him large. Let's actually copy this stats. We'll start with this as a baseline. We'll make them a little weaker because they're not like... We're just going to make them a little weaker. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But we're going to give them a little more... We're going to give them proficiency in a bunch of saving throws. Turn that down. We'll let them have the damage resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. Let's see, I reduced that by 11. So 126 minus 11. 115. Sure. Did I not copy the abilities or the attacks? Because this thing is still going to have a slam. But I also want it to have a shield bash. Anti-magic shield. Okay. The anti-magic guard has an unbreakable glass shield with a rune on it that repels magic. Anti-magic guard and its allies within 60 feet have advantage on saving throws against spells and resistance against damage from spells. Magic resistance. Advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. And resistance to damage from spells. One slam attack and one shield bash. I want to give it one more ability. I want to give it like a dispel magic kind of effect. It might just be dispel magic. Three-day. I don't know how the template is. There's a proper template for doing what I'm about to do, but I don't know what it is, so I'm just gonna three times per day. The anti-magic guard can cast dispel magic using no components. Cool. To do template that properly, or whatever, what it is pretty self-evident. So maybe I don't need to do anything. Let's adjust this slam because we made this guy weaker. Let's go give this 17. Yeah, I'm good at math. And then let's add that shield bash. Why does that? The italics don't matter, right? Melee weapon attack. +7 to hit. Reach 5 feet. 1 target. Hit. Let's make this one do a lot of damage because this thing needs to be able to hold its own. Let's say 8d6 plus 4. Maybe 66 plus 4. Okay. So a d6, the average is 3.5, times 2 is 7, times 3 is 21, 25. Bludgeoning damage. And the target... Hold on. Where's the Tyrannosaurus? The Tyrannosaurus has some riders. If the target is huge or smaller, it has the prone condition. Yo, hey Timothy, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. I think this is good. I think this is good enough. We can say that this is a pile of guards that we can make a handful of encounters with. We have guards that some of them we can stick on the walls, and so that the party can walk past them, and if they don't activate them, you know, they don't have to fight them. It occurs to me that maybe we don't need to make them fast. They're not meant to be fast. This one, doesn't need to be fast either. We have a bunch of placeholder names. We don't have a lot of description for this kind of stuff. But what am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know. There's more rooms. There's more room here for sure. Let's make some things that aren't monsters. Draw a line. That didn't do it. How do I add insert line? There it is. All right. Let's make some magic items. Let's make some items that are necessary for a magic prison to work. So, obviously, first we need magic manacles. These manacles prevent spellcasting of any kind while they are being worn. So you can keep your wizards locked up even though they have Dimension Door prepared. I don't know, that's kind of lazy. It's kind of lazy. My bro is joining. Nice. They are otherwise identical to manacles. That's real lazy. Let's do better. If we want to restrain spellcasters, we've already got a thing here in our palette. Wards against dimensional instability. So what we can do is we can just... These manacles have been inscribed with a ward that prevents teleportation and plane shifting. While they are being worn. I think I just invented the dimensional shackles, so let's not do that. Let's not reinvent dimensional shackles. Magic manacles. There you are. We can add. I don't want to do anything that prevents teleportation or plane shifting. I think preventing dimensional instability is not going to be what inspires me for these items. What might, though, is we can make items that are powered by books. So what's a cool thing if we had a big prison key? Large prison key. This key is necessary to open up several to open up a sealed what's a word, like I don't want to say blast door, but slab door. What's a word that that gives the connotation that this door is incredibly thick? Unnecessarily thick. Slab door might be it. This let's call it an 80-pound key. It is shaped like a large rod and has a book receptacle in one end. It requires book power to function. Each usage of the key consumes one page, the text of one page. Sure. Let me think. Could have like a sleeping gas device of some kind, knocking out prisoners. Sure. This nozzle. Nope, not doing that. Change my mind. Let's keep this more magical. More magical, less nozzly. Let's go up to our palette. Light-based conduits. We got book-type batteries, light-based. Okay, so if we have like a wand with a bunch of light channeling through it. Light wand. This glass rod is filled with various beams of light, which pulsate and reflect. Which glow brighter in the hands of a spellcaster. The wand is being used as a spellcasting implement. The caster can choose to make a spell to change the duration of a spell they are casting to 1 minute. Once the caster has done so, the lights in the wand go out, and the caster, until the next dawn, and the caster cannot change the duration. It cannot do duration of a in this manner again until the lights return. I don't know. That is a wand. You can use it to change the duration of your spell to 1 minute. Notably, 1 minute does not require concentration. Is this broken? Could be. Let's keep thinking. Pressure rooms. We got a vent. What's a magic item that's related to vents? It occurs to me, instead of saying a slab door, we can say pressure door. Magic rope. What about rope that if you feed it through a vent, it will snake its way intelligently through the vent and tie itself? No, that doesn't accomplish anything. Oh, I got it. This is a classic. What we could have is a this is nothing to do with vents whatsoever, but this has something to do with pressure rooms. Just kidding, no it doesn't. But what is a classic is if you ever need to go somewhere in D&D and there's no air, what you can do is you can get a bowl of water and you can cast water breathing, and then you can put the bowl of water on your head. This bowl of water is enchanted with a spell that allows anyone to breathe the water inside as if it were air. The bowl is additionally enchanted such that the water cannot pour out bowl. Come on. Keep thinking. We've got book type batteries. You know what would be cool? A book that records whatever you say to it. This magic book automatically writes down everything that is said to it. Everything that it hears said within 60 feet. It has enough room. It is 200 pages. The book contains 200 pages and if it is full, it will erase the oldest text in the book to make room for new text. While the book is being while the book is inside. If the book is placed inside of a... the magic is suppressed while it's in a book receptacle. This magic is suppressed while the book is placed inside of a book receptacle. Okay. That's cool. So we don't have to write down what we're saying. This book is writing it down for us. Constantly. Forever. We can make a dungeon out of that. But how we do that, I don't know. This seems like a good idea for somebody else to make interesting. I don't know how to make that interesting, but someone else. Someone else. We haven't used light-based conduits at all. If we had... Oh, no, we have. We made a wand out of it. Just kidding. Unbreakable glass. Can we make something out of unbreakable glass? Besides the wand. This unbreakable glass rod. Unbreakable bowl of water is enchanted. To allow anyone who breathes... I can do one more. I can definitely do one more. Let me just put my thinking cap on. Put my inspiration goggles on. Look around. What's inspiring me in this room? What's inspiring me in chat? What is inspiring me in the text that I've written? Oh, I've got it. We've got dimensional instability. And I mentioned rope earlier. And I mentioned rope going through vents, and that's dumb. But what if we have rope going through dimensional instability? Dimensional rope. This magic rope is capable of adhering to, or is capable of weaving itself through cracks in the demiplane. When a command word is spoken, one end of the rope can be, one end of the rope becomes immovable. Fixed and immovable. Weaving itself into the very fabric of reality. The rope remains immobile. The rope can hold on to up to 8,000 pounds before losing its grip. Can hold to 8,000 pounds. All right, there's an immovable rod. This is an immovable rope. That's what this is. How do I word that? Where's the immovable rod? Uh-oh, it's not in the basic rules. If it attempts to hold more, the rope loses its grip on the fabric of reality and becomes movable once more. You can use a command word to make the rope movable. Again, you can also use a command word to make the rope disappear and reappear in your hands. As it is to pull. Okay, you can also use a command word to pull the rope through the cracks in the demiplane, causing it to disappear. It then appears in your hands as it worms its way. And reappears in your hands. It then worms its way through non-space and reappears in your hands. Okay, that's silly. This magic rope is capable of weaving itself through cracks in the demiplane. When a command word is spoken, one end of the rope becomes fixed and immobile, weaving itself, rooting itself into the very fabric of reality. This rope can hold up to 8,000 pounds. If it attempts to hold more, the rope loses its grip and becomes movable once more. You can use a command word to make the rope movable. You can also additionally use a command word to pull the rope through the cracks in the to make the rope push through cracks in the demiplane, causing it to disappear. It then worms its way through non-space and reappears in your hands. Yeah. Immovable rope. We could just call it a immovable rope and then just say it's like an immovable rod, but it's rope. I could just say that. Save myself a lot of words, and it might make more sense too. If you know what an immovable rod is, I don't need to tell you jack. There it is. Imagine it's a movable rope. But I wrote a paragraph instead because I did. Yeah. Anyway, I'm out of inspiration juice, and I'm out of water, and I'm going to call it here. This is it for me, but I will be making more homebrew stuff. I'm probably just going to be doing that for the rest of the month. It's going to be brewing up this magic prison. We got this palette. We might make a new palette next time, but anyway, until then, hope you're having a good day out there. Hope you're doing well. See you all next time.